Om. Hello, hello, whomever is here with us for our Q&A. Waiting just a few moments as you arrive. I'll just play a little bit of our music that we play to ground and prepare. There you are, beautiful beings. Hi, Patty. There we go. Let's just take a moment to sit, to ground for all of us. Hi, Lisa. Lisa says, hi, everyone. I know it's directed at the pilgrims. You guys are welcome to come in here if you want to. You don't have to. You can stay where you are as well. So as we arrive today, we're all in our painting clothes around this joint and working hard, painting and cleaning and organizing and all those things. So we come together today. This is week number 12, not week number 11, as it probably says in the Q&A description. This is week number 12. We are on touchstone number 9. And this is our opportunity to turn our attention to the glory of altering our consciousness. Touchstone number 9 of 12, alter my consciousness. So as you are arriving, we are reminded of the ever so simple potency of coming back to an anchoring practice, as we do here with the Devi prayer. How simple it is for us to return again and again to 108 names of the divine. And how when we do that over and over again, whether it's a mantra that we practice on our own, or a particular teaching that we return to again and again, a particular anchoring practice of sitting at a certain time, or even making our tea, all of these things deeply affect us and provide for us an opportunity to grow deeper roots, so that when we need to grow roots quickly, they drop and we are nourished, just like that. This is how we know that what happens is that we have less reaction, less frequency of reaction, less intensity of reaction, and quicker recovery time, which I'll speak more about today. But as if to say that the chaos of life is going to come and it's still going to affect us, but it's not going to affect us as much, as frequently, with as much intensity, and we're going to clear it up and clean it out right quick. Dropping right back into a peaceful heart, however we are able, in any moment, at any given time, just like that. So the anchoring song, the anchoring practice of just coming here together as we're doing all of this. those practices for us. And so we come together for the student teacher prayer right here, right now, and then we'll move into our questions. Sending the breath from the crown of the head down and out the body to the belly of the earth. Inhaling in and up to the crown and beyond. Sending the breath down and out the body in and up to the crown of the head. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitam Astu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. There it is. So as we come together today, we are focusing our attention on how we alter our consciousness. Now, your lessons for this week are super rich and deep, and rather than go into those here, I'm just going to encourage you to go back to those teachings so that you have those, and those teachings can bless you as they have so deeply and continue to be not only a blessing for me, but they continue to be nourishment for my journey. When we alter our consciousness, essentially we're looking at the ways in which that we can see everything as nourishment for our sacred path, for our spiritual path. Now, that being said, there may be times along the way that we say, okay, yes, this is nourishment for me, and it's more than I want right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. We just simply know that that is how we turn our attention to turning a life experience from the material awareness that it may be and have into a spiritual awareness and a spiritual lesson. So just like we spoke about the anchoring at the beginning, when you come here and I welcome you and I welcome you back and I welcome you home again and again, this is just to say that we're all going to keep showing up here in all these ways, and we're all going to have our stuff, and we're all going to be working through the things that we're working through, but there are anchoring practices. There are things that we do. I come here, or wherever here may be, I come here every single morning as a way in which to sit and be present to what is as it is, and use that as I'm able for spiritual teaching, so that I can use heat and pressure to fashion me, my life, my journey into some diamond instead of a lump of coal. So this is how we turn our attention to the grace of the teachings. It's just simple. It's a shifting of the kaleidoscope so you see different colors. Nothing out there necessarily needs to change, but it's all right here on the inside, making the shifts from the inside, because everything that comes our way, everything that comes our way at any given time is just right here to teach us. Can we just laugh? Can we have less reaction, less frequency of reaction, less intensity of reaction, and quicker recovery time? And if we find that we are reactive, that perhaps the work is to keep calming the nervous system so that that reactivity isn't there. And can we then watch what's happening in and around us so that we see and sense that there's nothing wrong out there, that everything is giving me an opportunity to grow and to learn. And I also get to choose. It's choice, not chore. Again and again and again. So we have lots of questions here today. And so we're going to jump right on into those. There's some good, deep questions today. So Julie says, Julie Lucas, I get turned around sometimes when I consider both the teachings, everything is God, and neti, 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 which means not this, not this, not this. Okay, so fast forward to the very end of your Pilgrim book, Julie, since you've done this with me before. Fast forward to the very end of the Pilgrim book, and I'm going to work backwards from this place. At the very end of your Pilgrim book, in your very last touchstone, which is worship your way home, Om on the inside of home, there's this thing that says there's all these teachings and there's all these things, and there's like these three little lotus seeds that I'm super attached to because they were my initiation gift from my teacher, really the only gift I've ever gotten from my teacher, Swamiji Vagishananda. These are the gift. And then when we were moving things out of the yoga studio, things were flying all over. Dogs were running around, and I wasn't sure if it was gonna disappear forever in a digestive system of a dog or whatever was gonna happen. And that is, in fact, divinity, right? Just saying, ha, 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 don't get attached. Don't get attached. My mother was a great teacher of this. When I broke my great-great-grandmother's butter dish, like it was the oldest heirloom in our family, and I was washing dishes, and I broke it while washing dishes. And my mom goes, Britt Ann, shit. No worries. It's just a thing. And it was like that. Boom, boom, boom. And I went, my whole body went, That is less reaction, less frequency of reaction, less intensity of reaction, quicker recovery time. That is both. Everything is divinity and not this. Like, I'm not going to get attached to this. I'm not going to get wrapped up in this. I'm not going to get bound to this. I'm not going to let this take me somewhere other than to a peaceful and relaxed heart. So this is also the thing where neti neti is about, oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? So you got to do these things. Is all of this retreat center, this thing that I'm like, I am here to serve, I am here to teach. 7 sisters, this came to me in a meditation, and we're doing this thing, and we're building this out, and people are coming. Is this divinity? Absolutely. Is this divinity? Absolutely not. This is the material world. It's going to fall away. Am I whole, holy enough as is? If my right arm is missing? Absolutely. Am I whole, holy enough as is? If this retreat center falls away? Absolutely. Is this journey whole, holy enough as is? If I'm married or divorced or with children or without children? Absolutely. So both are completely true. Everything is divinity, and everything resolves into divinity, like the black hole of black wholeness, right? It's like the black hole of black wholeness. And in and through that, we are going through all these lessons in this life, using all of these tools like children and relationships and connections and projects and visions and dreams and goals. We're using all of those things to help us realize that those things are not necessary in order for us to touch into divinity, to tap into divinity. So that's that. So I just want to ask, does that, to the sweet beings here, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's all of it, right? It's like, it's all of it. Mm-hmm. Look at Sybil. Poor Sybil has paint all over her glasses. She's just speckled with paint. Right. So it's both. It's that. There's a story. There's a Vedic story about the god birds, where there's 2 birds sitting on a wire, and one bird is like, I want this, and I want that, and I want to fly to the next village, and I'm going to go visit this tree, and I'm going to go visit this bird over there, and I'm going to have baby birds, and I'm going to find a partner bird that I'm going to, and I'm going to build a nest, and then I'm going to fix this nest. It's like all those things, and the other bird just sits there and right? Like the mother-in-law last week and the bird singing, the other bird's just sitting there. And in time, these 2 birds, God gives us, divinity gives us everything in Leela, in this play, for us to work out all of our stuff, because we all come, it's like that conversation around, he's just not as evolved as you are. It's like, what is that? Right? It's like Catherine tells us the story about her. Did you guys read the story about Catherine on the street where there was a guy holding up a sign and he said he needed like $238 to get home to his mother or whatever.
Yeah,
she goes to the bank. She gets her $238. Did you read this, Des?
Yeah.
She gets her $238 and she comes back and she gives guys $238. And he's like, thank you so much. Now I can go home. And she's like, oh, that's so great. And a week later, she sees the same guy out there with the sign that says $238. And all I thought was God in drag, right? Like, this, I thought lots of things, but that's the net thing. Like, yes, we're giving, but we're giving to get out of the way. We're giving, like, first we have to think first we have to want a flute. Then we have to learn how to play the flute. Then we want to be able to play the flute well. Then we want to get some sort of awards for playing the flute. We move up, so we're first chair. Oh my gosh, this is so perfect. I said to the women, like at 1:59, because I really like to be totally present, y'all. They were in getting snacks and stuff, and I said, hey, can we wait 1 hour so that we can have. This is alter my consciousness right here. Can we wait an hour so that we can just have silence? I just want to be really present to all of you. And they're like, sure. Boom, they're right here, totally present. And then Hector walks in, he's making guacamole for us to eat. And so there's water and things happening and blenders going. And I'm just like, where is God not? Right? All this right there. Bowing down.
Yeah. And it's returning so quickly, so there isn't the residue.
That's right.
It's not the residue, it's keeping our heart so clean that the residue just doesn't take hold.
Keeping our heart so clean that there's not the residue, right? Things don't build up. They don't become cancerous in our psyche. They don't become, it's like the dogs. Daisy, salud, bless you. Daisy and Maya have their absolute spitfire blowouts. And then they're like 30 seconds later, they're like, come here, let me kiss you. Let me kiss you. And they're not like, I'm just going to pretend to kiss you because I'm really mad at you. They're like really loving each other. They don't carry that residue. It's like the chiropractic adjustment I told you about with my horse. Animals don't carry that nonsense that makes us think we are a superior species. The same thing that makes us think we are a superior species is keeping our shoulder injury from the ski accident 20 years ago still alive in our bodies. It's the whole basis of PTSD in our humanity. And then there's nothing wrong here. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's keep working through it, but let us recognize neti. Oh yes, and everything is God. Everything is here to teach us. Every single one of us are for each other. The mirror and the man in the mirror and the man holding the sign that says $238, please, to get me home to my mother, or whatever the sign was. All right. So Julie, I hope that answered your question. Tracy. So pardon me, I'm just reading these questions for the first time and just dropping in. So usually I read them beforehand. Today I've not, because we've been painting and cleaning. We've been getting this place called Ready for You, which we'll tell you what its name is in 4 whole days. Okay. Tracy Irwin, my altar is now a place I bring things to leave and gain things when I spend time with. My altar is now a place I bring things to leave and gain things when I spend time with it. Okay. It's still in a tiny drawer because for me, it's very private and keeps the cat from headbutting things. It's a place of peace and renewal for me as I can drop my cares there to be lifted up. Okay, that's beautiful. So that's a perfect awareness that we're not talking about necessarily. Remember, these are your reflections too. These are not just the challenges or whatever. And I just want to remind you that, again, your altar is anywhere and everywhere. My altar happens to now at this place in my life be everywhere in my life. But you can have an altar on a kitchen window or on a desk that nobody knows is an altar. It's your altar, and it's an expression of something that's deeply and highly spiritual to you, but to someone else, it just looks like a rock or a candle or something that they don't understand. I mean, how many offices have you sat in over the course of your life, at university, in your first job, in an HR meeting, and you're looking around and you're seeing all these things and you're just like, what's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? Right? Feel how different that is when it's like you walk into a space and it's like a little, what do I want to say? It's like a, see, what's happening for me is it's just so the opposite of walking into a sterile office that has perfectly framed accolade after accolade after accolade after accolade, certificate after certificate. What is that? How can we ever trust that? The person behind, like, how do we trust the person behind that curtain, the wizard behind that curtain? Right? Similarly, how do we fully trust the person who just has pictures of everything beautiful and pretty little family and pretty little wife and pretty little husband and pretty little children? Right? Don't you want to see some, like, what's that weird looking thing on your desk? Okay, so just to say, in alignment with what Tracy's saying, you know, it can be anywhere. It can be your dashboard. It can be in your pocket. Your altar can be your pocket. Right? It can be your pocket. Let it be a place of peace and renewal for me as I drop my cares. So Key McGraw shared something with us, with this group of our sweet little pilgrims that she sent to me, and I'm going to just read it to you, that she sent, because it seems really pertinent to our journey here with all of us here and to each of us as pilgrims. There is an ancient story of a group of pilgrims searching for the Holy Land. They wandered for days to the bank of a very wide river. It was too deep to cross, and there was nothing to build with. One of the pilgrims prayed for guidance, and a voice appeared, urging each to give up something they held dear. From this, they could build a raft, for only that which they held dear would be strong enough to hold them up as they crossed over into the Holy Land. Right, let me say that again. For only that which they held dear would be strong enough to hold them up as they crossed into the Holy Land. There was immediate conflict and suspicion. The one who heard the voice was accused of trying to steal what mattered most to everyone. Finally, 4 of the stranded pilgrims agreed. Each offered what seemed useless to the others: a stone, a feather, a piece of driftwood, a page from a book no one understood. Mysteriously, as they slept, the dearness they had placed in these things flowed together, and they woke up to find a magnificent raft. Once on the other side, the one who gave up the feather heard another voice. It said that the Holy Land was right where they had landed. The 4 pilgrims settled on the, okay, right? Like, it's right here. It's right here. It said that the Holy Land was right where they had landed. The 4 pilgrims settled on the far bank within view of the others who would not cross. That night they burned the raft to cook their food, and the voices told them that the Holy Land is wherever what you hold dear holds you up and then turns to nourishment. The wisdom carried in this ancient myth is that what we fear is most private mysteriously belongs to everyone. That is, once shared, the things we hold dear release a power that is healing. That is not to say that we should give up what is healing in the midst of it becoming dear to us. Rather, the story urges us to relinquish personal icons so that they may continue to heal others. It reminds me of a relic of a saint someone gave me when I was ill, a chip of bone from someone centuries ago who began a religion of which I was not a part. But as I held this relic, I'm going to change pages, hang on a second. As I held this relic and prayed and worried and sweat through my terror, it became precious to me. Once well, it became a sacred charm for me until one day the person who gave it to me fell terribly ill and needed it back. I was afraid to give it up and felt naked without it, but giving it up made everything holy. I have since, when the time proved right, given away other precious things I have lived with, crystals and books and personal treasures I have long enshrined. For only in use do they again become healing. It is the giving of what is dear that helps us cross the river. So I think about how many times I've literally just given things away from my altar. I'm like, oh, this one's for you. Oh, this is for you. Oh, this is for you. Just giving things away from my altar because I sit with them every single day. All right. Just giving things away. And I have things on my altar that others have given to me. It's just such a sweet way to be part of the whole journey of connection, the whole pilgrimage, really. So there it is. So it is a place of peace and renewal. That is your altar. And it is a place you can bring things to leave and gain things when I spend time with it. I believe that if I can't give up absolutely everything on this altar, if I can't give up absolutely everything, oof, there's a couple things here that they'd be really hard for me to give up. But if I can't give them up, then do I have an altar? Do I have this material expression of my altar, or does the material expression of my altar have me? Just a thought for you. Okay, Angela says, this has to do with the 5 koshas. It's one of the lessons you mentioned, noticing when we feel off and identifying which veil it's coming from. Can you explain a little bit more about identifying and healing a layer that feels out of whack? So, your question is a little evasive to me. I'm not quite clear. I can give you, because your question's a little general, I can give you sort of a general answer. So if it's physical, you feel it as a physical sensation in your body. Okay. And remember, the physical body is your gross body. It's where we most often feel the most potent things. So fear comes in and we feel it in our bodies, but it's not a body part that is felt. It is an energetic and emotional experience in the body, sensation in the body that is below the physical body. So the key is noticing things like knees, jaw, muscles, bones, nerves. Noticing things like tightness, heat, moisture, dryness. Right? Noticing those gunas, if you will, those qualities that tell us if we are thick or thin, heavy or light, cold or warm, oily or dry, hot or cold, right? Tight or loose. Noticing those. Those are the sensations that are most associated with the physical body. If it is emotional, right? If it is emotional, we feel it beneath the physical body and within the physical body, but it's most often not identified as associated with the physical body part. But when it's really strong, it takes over that physical body part, right? So you can feel fear as a total tightness in your jaw or a headache, anxiety as a headache. That's come from the tensions. So to answer your question, the real work is going deeper. What do I feel? Where do I feel it? Is it tight? Is it loose? Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it thick? Is it thin? Is it in my feet? Is it in my lower half of my body? My upper half of my body? So like I can have a headache that I'm fully feeling in my brow, which is very physical, and I'm feeling it in the back of my head. And then I'm also, if I drop in, I drop beneath it, I can feel it as a vibration. So that's what we're going for. Returning to Pavan Muktasana is an exceptional practice for getting to this, because what Pavan Muktasana offers you are 3 different stages of the same practice. So go back to your Inspire Asana practice and remember that there are 3 ways that we move the body through those Pavan Muktasana energies. Desiree, do you remember, did we call the Pavan Muktasana asana practice Pavan Muktasana?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Saved on mine.
Okay, go back to the Sunday yoga practices. That is the one that's called Pavan Muktasana. It's probably 4 weeks ago. It was here, wasn't it? I was in the studio, I think. So it's in the last 6 weeks for sure.
It was like October, end of September.
Yeah.
It was fall was coming, and we were talking about fall.
Right. And it was in this studio. It wasn't in the, do you remember?
It was here. It was in this one.
Okay, so it was here. So it was after beginning of October. So it was in the last 8 weeks for sure. It's called Pavan Muktasana, and it's in your Sunday yogas, and you can go back into it and find it. And if you didn't register for it, because it gives you 3 options. It gives you the opportunity first to feel the breath in your physical body. Where do I feel it? Well, where do I feel my breath? I feel it in my nose. I feel it in my mouth. I feel it in the back of my throat. I feel it in my lungs. Okay, awesome. Then over time, you start to feel it even deeper. You're like, wait, I think I can actually feel my breath in my thighs. I can feel it in my feet. But we don't feel it like oxygen. You're not feeling oxygen necessarily. You're going from the awareness of the breath in the body to moving and sensing the breath throughout the body. So rather than just where breath moves, which is in the lungs, but it's really moving all the way out to the feet, you slowly and steadily are able to feel it more and more and more throughout the whole body. So it goes physical body, breath body, energy body. Then you feel it as energy when you hold your breath, when you move your breath, etc., etc. So that's what I would say about the 5 koshas. So yes, you want to feel off and notice where it's coming from. And then the key of it is just like in any one of our other doshas or any of our practices, etc., etc. If dosha meaning your constitution, go back to regulation, go back to basic breathing, go back to something like Pavan Muktasana, go back to walking in nature and pay attention. And you ask yourself, and we'll get to this, I'm going to jump ahead here. But we get ahead when we get to the place where we say, what's happening now? What's happening now? As if to say, okay, I'm tight in the belly. What's happening now? I'm curling my toes. What's happening now? My jaw is tight. What's happening now? My low back hurts. What's happening now? I can't poop. What's happening now? My hands are dry. What's happening now, right? What is it? What's happening now? And then where does this show up in my life? Like, look at it from a bigger perspective. Let it get all hairy fairy. Not hairy fairy, airy fairy. It's all heebie-jeebie and airy-fairy and out there and etheric. Let it get that way. Just really let it get that way. Let it grow beyond the obvious, beyond the scientific, beyond the material world. When you say, where does this show up in my life? Well, I'm not only physically constipated, but I also feel energetically constipated. Like I hold on to stuff. Somebody walks in my office or somebody walks in my yard and I go, oh, there's nothing going on right here. I'm holding on to that from before. Right? Like what Sybil said about the residue. Like we got to let that go, let that go, let that go. So where does that show up in my life? Where does constipation show up in your life? I promise you on all things holy that if you are regularly constipated, it is not just about your poop in your butthole. It is everything to do with your whole being. Your constipation extends far beyond your digestive tract. I promise. What are you not digesting? What have you put inside of you that you are unwilling to let go of? Sorry, Angela, you didn't know you were going to talk about being off and identifying which veil it's coming from, and we go down this. But so, when we're healing it, we're just paying attention. That's what we're doing. We're paying attention. And it's like what I said in the Sankalpa, letting go is not, right? Yesterday, magic happens when I let go. It's this. I'm letting go. I don't have to drop kick what's ever present in my life out. Just letting go. Letting go isn't like, walking through a spider web and then like trying to force it off of you in every way. Letting go is just letting, allowing that which is meant to leave. Hola, Marta. Buenas tardes. So perfect. It's like, couldn't be better, you guys. This is like the best ever.
Yeah.
Every time.
So good.
It's because every time I'm just like trying to be really present to you, and whole life's happening. There's people coming and going and blenders but I pooped this morning. I will tell you, I pooped. Pooping every day. Pooping good. Good. Kathy pooped too. We're good. We're doing great. All right. What else we have for questions here? Heading back over to StreamYard. Okay. I was just able to pop on and right on time for the poop. Sorry. Oh, you missed that Sunday. I got the chills when we said that about residue. And Angela said that. Yep, absolutely. And then there's those little birds. She's got a picture, little emoji of a little baby birdie and a big birdie. Yay. Libby says, yay. Pam says, Libby says, hola, chicas, let's learn. Pam says, please, can you speak to the topic of subservient actions, for example, to please the boss versus the act of serving others and loving unconditionally? I'll just say one thing, and it's what Ramana Maharishi says. When he was asked, how can I love others? Ramana Maharishi said, there are no others.
That's right.
So there is no action that is subservient. I just got goosebumps. There is no action that is subservient. Versus, there is no versus. The act of serving others and loving unconditionally. It's one and the same. Now, oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? We might need to work through some stuff to get to that place, and there's nothing wrong with that. We might have to grumble, snort, and spit and do it over and over again. So, okay, I'll tell you a secret, even though he doesn't speak English, so he doesn't hear me, he can't understand me anyway. So one of the things that my sweet beloved, I like that word.
Yeah,
My sweet beloved partner, Hector, told me is that after he split up with his partner of 17 years and some big stuff had gone down and some promises were made about properties and things that didn't happen. And so he was left high and dry. He said, I decided that I was going to serve her until it didn't hurt anymore. So he said, I'd clean her windows, I'd paint her house, I'd do all of it for her. I just kept doing it until it didn't hurt. And he said, it doesn't hurt anymore. And now I don't do it, but if she needed anything when she had cancer and was diagnosed with cancer, he's like, I was right there. You need food, you need this, you need that, you need to pay your water bill, what do you need me to do? Not pay it with his money, but walk and pay it. Not that he could have paid it with his money, but you know what I mean? It's just like, how do I serve? How do I serve? My teacher has always said, and I don't know why, I don't know which part of it is, but he's like, Britt, your chart says feed people, feed people. I'm like, feed people. He's like, feed people. I'm like, I don't cook very much. I'm busy. When I cook, He gets cooking down and he's like, feed people. So that's part of what we'll be doing with our projects of impact, Los Proyectos de Impacto. For all those reasons, how do we nourish? Spiritual nourishment, physical nourishment, mental nourishment, space, nourishment of space, all these ways. So Pam, if there's more to your question that I'm not understanding, or if there's more that I can unfold with that, this would be a beautiful time to speak to that. I'm glad you're here. You just said thank you. So please say more. Say more if there's more. Other questions? Are there other questions? Let me see. Any other questions? I'm going to head on over to email and see if something shows up. Whoops. Oh, yeah. Looking. Not seeing any other questions. All right, let me go ahead on back over here. Pam, is there anything else with yours that you want to speak, or are there any other questions as we're showing up here? Otherwise, I might share one other little thing with you for funsies. I just want to look at my crazy notes. Anything else? You said something. You said someone said, can you type so you felt? Oh, someone said, can you type? So you felt, was that you felt the other person said, can you type? Oh, so.
Your story about Larry.
Yeah. So I was talking about my ex-husband and how he said, he asked me if I could type. And I'm just saying that was my work to do right there. So that was the work that I consistently was doing in that relationship, is serving. How do I serve? How do I serve? How do I serve? So that's where, right, that's it. It's like, that's the work. How do we keep doing that? How do we keep turning our attention to, how do I fashion myself into a diamond through whatever is being given to me, through heat and pressure, instead of feeling as though I somehow need to, or I'm just unconsciously allowing myself to turn into carbon, right, into charcoal, because it's the same, right? It's all carbon. And with heat and pressure applied, it either becomes a diamond, or under different circumstances, and you're the one who gets to apply those circumstances, it becomes charcoal. So ash, you decide, do I want to be ash or do I want to be a diamond? So there it is. All right. Okay, here's another thing I just want to share with you. We talked about this. I was talking about this with Desiree earlier today. That all of these things, that when we alter our consciousness, we're not talking about memorizing things. This is not about, an act of intellectually getting something. Like, we can sit, and I'm sure I could sit with most of you and you could tell me all sorts of ways that you could be eating better, eating healthier, living a healthier life. But to know it between your ears is not to know it in your bones. It's also not a matter of something or anything making sense up here. We want it to make sense in the body. Like, even think about that phrase. Oh, that makes sense to me. That means, like, I get it in my bones. I get it in my sensory body. It's a shift in how we were raised. It's a shift in that's why we call it, the Vedic teachings are a cognitive shift. It's a shift in how we view ourselves, others, and the world based upon how we were raised. My teacher always says, the moment you say, oh, I get it, there's a pretty good chance you might have missed it. right? Like go deeper. Oh, because we've thrown it into an intellectual understanding. But when you feel it in your body and you want to weep, when you feel it in your body and you get goosebumps, when you feel it in your body and you get chills, your body's telling you, oh yeah, there it is. Mhm. Right? The world is just fine. Change what's going on the inside. That's what this is all about. And above all else, create an altar that it doesn't have to be pretty. Create an altar where you can relax, where you can sit before it and you can give your dirty sucker back to God. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like this, like a little kid, drops, oh, I want a sucker, I want a sucker, I want a sucker, Mom, I want a sucker, I want a sucker. You get the sucker and they play with it for a while and it's sticky, it's all over, and they drop it on there. I don't want this. Give it back to the ultimate giver. Mom was playing God there. Mom gave you the sucker. Give it back. Give it back to the ultimate giver. Everything. You need to cry. You feel shut down. You feel lost. You feel challenged. You feel whatever. Like, just give it back to the ultimate giver. Just give it back. Everything comes from the divine. Everything. You think that there's something that's happening in this world right now that divinity has not given us? Like, even look at it through the Bible. Where'd the devil come from? Where did Satan come from? I'll give you a hint. God. Right? Right? It's all part of it. So one other little, let's see here. One other thing I just would love to say. I mean, the lessons are so packed. You could go back to those lessons and get so much. One of my favorite mantras ever, and I think we'll do it if you want, if you girls want to do it with me. Call and response. Ready? You're going to laugh. This is, and Swamiji teaches this very seriously. You guys know this one, right? You know which one it is? Probably. Ready? Oh, fear.
Oh, fear.
I'm not afraid of you.
I'm not afraid of you.
You're my best friend.
You're my best friend.
Here, take my hand.
Here, take my hand.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's it. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Right?
Yeah.
Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. I do have one I want to share with you. That's just fun if I can. Since, okay, where is it? I'm looking for something. Let me see if it's here. I'm looking. Something I want you to see. Hang with me. We'll wrap up with this. See, I have this bad habit. I have 47,000 things on my desktop. So finding things gets challenging when I'm not planned ahead. Hang on. Here it is. This is one. This is I'm going to just tell you the name of it. It's called the Shatangaruhu Mantra. Shatangaruhu Mantra. It means Shatangaruhu is all limbs nourishing, harmonizing, like all limbs of all of divinity. And it means that we are healing and integrating and that we are moving all energies in the same direction. It is an intentional practice to get in touch with the destructive principle that everything in this entire universe is impermanent, that all is seen, gone, and that our work is to consistently offer non-resistance, to the time, as my teacher says, the time death fact that we cannot change. And that death does not mean going into non-existence, right? This is like a huge difference. Anything that's leaving, come, 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 go, go, go. Death does not mean going into non-existence. It means resolving into the one unmanifest being. That's very different. So here's how it goes. I won't do it in call and response. I'll just do it. All right. We send the breath down and out the body. Inhaling to the crown. Om Hrim Shrim Hrim Rom Hrim Raha Hana Hana Daha Daha Pacha Pacha Grahana Grahana Mairana Mairana Dairana Mairana Maha Maha Bhairava Bhairava Dunaya Dhunaya Kampaya Kampaya Vignaya Vignaya Vikshveshvaya Kshopaya Kshopaya Katakato Mohaya Humfat Svaha Om. That's it. Isn't that fun? I'll do it one more time. Send the breath down and out the body. Inhale to the crown. Om Hrim Shrim Hrim Rom Hrim Raha Hana Hana Daha Daha Pacha Pacha Grahana Grahana Mairana Mairana Mardaya Mardaya Maha Maha Bhairava Bhairava Rupena Dhunaya Dhunaya Kampaya Kampaya Vignaya Vignaya Vishveshaya Kshopaya Kshopaya Katukatu Mohaya Humfat Svaha Om. We'll learn that one in 2022. It's part of our Sunday yoga. Okay, I'm just going to double dog check, see if there's any more emails, anything else on Facebook. Good, Pam, you got it. I'm glad that came through to you. Beloved beings, no more. Let me hit a little review here, a renew, refresh. I wish y'all were here to eat some guacamole with us. Coming soon. We're hungry. Are we hungry?
Yes.
I'm hungry. Yes. Very, very. I'm very hungry. All right, let me check my email. Let's see here. Ominous. And then I think that we are done, beloveds. There is not much more we got to deal with right here, right now. That is Holy. He's telling us it's time for guacamole. So we love you. You are loved. Thanks for being here on this week number 12, touchstone number 9, altar, ALTAR, my consciousness. If you haven't been in your membership portal, skip everything that's happened thus far and jump right on into this lesson. It is super rich. Lots and lots and lots of good juju. All right. I love you. You are loved. Sweet day. Home. Bye. Oh, no, wait. We forgot. Om Purnamida. Thank you. Sending breath down and out the body to the belly, the earth, inhaling to the crown together. Om Purnamidam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamavevashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All right. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Big love. Bye.
You will.